Um, I thought you would say Comrade Mohammed. So he's exposing something that he was not supposed to be exposing. Well, you know, Comrade, we have a very serious crisis in South Africa. And then if we don't deal with this crisis that we are facing it now, then we'll have a very serious challenge. So we as members of the African National Congress and our alliance partners, we had a very long discussions. And as you remember that we once issued a statement on the 5th where we asked the NEC and the top 6 to do 3 things. One was to say, postpone SONA. We don't want you to do SONA while you still have the President Jacob Zuma, because we don't think he's the relevant at this moment. And then we said 2, recall him as soon as possible, or else we'll give you some period. If he's not yet out, then we are completely going to do a national shutdown. In other words, there will not be any process. No one will not be allowed to go to work, including, we even make a call and say, even those that are protecting Comrade Jacob Zuma, they should stay at home, because this is a national crisis that involves everybody. So we want everybody on Monday to stay away from work until Comrade Jacob Zuma to step down. Because there are a few challenges that we have seen, particularly after the development of the meeting for the past 2-3 days between him and the president. And we want to make this very strong call to the president to say he should not be threatened or be ashamed. He should take the authority and lead. So we're saying this to the Comrade Ramaphosa, that he must not be apologetic and being afraid to ask the president to step down. And he must not treat him better like anybody else. Because we know that Comrade Jacob Zuma is not alone. There are people who are really pushing him to do those kind of things that is happening, to make him not to resign. And we know that him alone is powerless. But there are those few ministers, people like Batabile Dlamini, you know, and these other comrades. We know that in their corridors they are asking him not to go. So we realize that we have a very serious threat. I mean, how in the world you will find the wife of the president going to the Twitter and make a serious threat? She didn't just do those things alone. I mean, there is an influence somewhere to say, go and provoke them so that they are going to be afraid. So we have realized that Comrade Jacob Zuma, he has been idolized by other people. He's a god of some people. So we can't have a god of Jacob Zuma, and, you know, we can't. We need to have a president who, when he realizes that this time is done, and then he gets out. And then, you know, looking at these things where this threat, because this is a very serious situation, Comrade, because the PLF, they started. And when they started, they were protected by ACE, who is the Secretary General of our glorious movement, by even saying that, you know, we welcome this statement by PLF, a very disciplined cadre, the people who came with firearms in the march of Defend Luthuli, where some of you, I was even wondering, because some of you journalists, you saw those firearms and you never say anything. You only jump to a woman who was kicked. But the 5 firearms, you don't jump to it. So you sometimes ask yourself, are you being paid somewhere? Or you are in the payroll of somebody, because you cannot see the 5 firearms and you do not expose them. We do not support the issue of a man hitting a woman. That was a very disappointing element, and we condemned that. We do not want that. And that's why we say comrades should face the hand of the law. Even he was with us, marching with us, we said he should be persecuted. But the fact that journalists failed even to deal with the 5 firearms, it's a very serious concern that in this very democratical country, you still have the people that cover certain things and do not cover certain things. Because the crisis that we are facing of Jacob Zuma, it faces you even a journalist. When the rent is shaken and things are not going well, it also affects you and your households. So we should support one another in defeating those that are protecting Zuma in the office. And those people, we know them are these ministers that are corrupt. Because the comrade Cyril, during his campaign, he promised us that he's going to root corruption. He's going to deal with corruptions. And we feel that corruption, he should start it now. He must exercise those power. Because we've elected them, the top 6, because we trusted them, to say that you are going to rescue us, you are our Messiah. So we plead with you, the top 6, that today is the last day that we have promised, that if you are not going to recall Comrade Zuma, then we'll take this matter to the street. And we are calling to everybody that please, fellow South Africans, do not go to work tomorrow. Tomorrow, in all 9 provinces, please don't go to work. Whether you are a police, whether you are a nurse, whether you are a doctor, whether you are a security guard, whether you are a garden boy, whether you work in a border gate, do not go to work. Because these crises that we are facing, it affects us. This man is like Mugabe in South Africa. We can't be having the Mugabe. Some of us and many people have suffered for this democracy. I believe that Nelson Mandela, where he is really upset with Comrade Zuma. In fact, with the ANC. In fact, with the ANC, that you are disappointing us, you are not exercising your authority. What is it that Comrade Zuma is being treated like an angel? Huh? I mean, after Polokwane, every party rush and say the 2 centers of power cannot work. And then they rush and remove Zuma. So why can't we not do it now? Why do we have to treat him like he's Mr. The World? I mean, a man who has so much corruption cases against him. So we cannot do that. So we had to take, and this call, we're doing it even with all the other parties and other NGOs. They must be on the street tomorrow. And we want to send this message to the wife of the comrade Jacob Zuma, to say, do not threaten us. Because we are going to respond to your threat, and we are not going to like it. The day we will respond to the threat that you are doing it, we are not going to sit down and celebrate about this. We'll be very much angry. So we are even urging the President Zuma himself. We can't find his son defending his mother and say, this is not the statement of the family. We do not know until the husband responds. There is no way my woman can stand up and say, you touch Maumela, you will be in trouble, while she did not have any influence from me. So in other words, there was somewhere where they were sitting and they were discussing their actions. Because the PLF, remember the PLF comes and said, you touch Zuma, you touch AN7, you will see. And we said, who are they to say that? And the Zuma is not saying anything. The comrade Zuma is not saying anything. In fact, the ANC should discipline him for that. To say, why are you not asking your own, why are you not responding to those threats that are made on your own name? Because anybody who can go and lies on Maumela's surname, I will then have to react and say, no, this is not, why are you doing that? And the president has been so quiet. In fact, He's denying to leave. Because we're even saying maybe he doesn't know how to write. Maybe we should copy and paste the letter that Comrade Thabo have used and then take it. We will assist him to write. And then we are saying, as we have been having an engagement, we are saying, if he's not gone by the end of tonight, we will be on the street. And we do not want anybody to go to work. And this thing is frustrating us because we are sick and tired of this comrade. And we are saying to Comrade Paul, the call that you have made, we will support you. And we are being in the forefront because we love our movement. We love our organizations. And if it means be that we are arrested or beaten or be killed, we are ready for it tomorrow. And we are not going to leave Union Building, by the way, until he resigns. And that's what we are going to do. We've made arrangements. As we are sitting at about 60 buses now, and we know before the end of today we might have 100 buses because we want thousands and thousands of people to come to this march. And we are saying to all those people who are driving, coming from outside, remember we'll also be joined by the Pakistan group that are coming to make sure that we remove this man. So we are coming to Union Building tomorrow. And we are not apologetic about it. And we are ready for everything. We have sat with the police and all the leaders in Tshwane. We had an engagement and say, this is our plan and this is what we are going to do tomorrow. And we are not apologetic. We will march and then we'll start our march from here in Beggars Park Hotel and then moving to all the street and then addressing the people to say, do not give up on the ANC. We just have one enemy. And we'll root out that enemy. If it means we go to the office and remove him, we will do that. We cannot be defeated by group of thugs, group of tsotsis, group of people that their intention is to corrupt this organization. The intention is to destroy this government. So we are not even afraid. Even BLF, if they come, we are ready. I engaged the BLF leader in Power FM and I said, you repeat what you have done. You threaten us again. We will respond. And if you respond with a threat, we respond with a threat. You come with a firearm, we will beat you physically. We will show you what you have never seen because we cannot have, and you know, I was even discussing with some of our comrades when we were in the caucus and we said, why can't we not go to Zimbabwe and borrow the army and go to Mahlabandlovu there? We make sure that we remove everything there. So that's what we are here for, and that's the message that we are sending across. And then with this, the NEC, when they sit tomorrow, we are definitely sure that ACE have received the letter that we have sent it to them. We have made a very strong demand. We said, number one, we don't want in any negotiation that the president of the ANC is doing with Comrade Zuma must include the issue that he must not be persecuted. We want him to be in fact, from all the crimes, starting from the rape crime, going to the all 790-something cases, he must be persecuted for that. And we said, number two, Comrade Ace should apologize in the media, not only in the ANC, not only in the NEC, for the statement that he has made, because that's why you find ourselves coming and then start to talk to the media. Because we realize that having the SG, the person who's in the center of power, the center of the organization, that goes out in KZN and praises a particular faction. That man, really, he has been the SG by default. Because you can't have an SG that says, Comrade Sihle, Don't look down upon yourself. You are still a chairperson. While you know that there is Mike Mabia Kulu, who has been the person who had to lead the PTT. And then you have the SG praising the wrong people. And now give us the threat and say, we give those people who are selling the ANC. And we want him to apologize on those three things. Nobody have sold the ANC. You corrupted the ANC. And you must come clean with the issue of because there is no way as a premier, because a premier has a final authority in the province. If there is a tender, the HOD will report to the MEC, then the MEC will report to the premier. So he should know he has a final authority. And if there is a corruption cases to his allies, how come he said that is not corrupt? So he must come very clear and say, and tell us where is he standing, whether is he corrupt or not corrupt. And he must even apologize for dividing the movement. For in fact, for making sure that, for provoking us by supporting a particular group of people. We are not going to allow that, and the ACE must come and apologize, because if you cannot do so, we will also react, and it won't be nice. Because we know that you didn't win in the conference in a proper manner. So you are there by mistake. So when I'm finishing, when a pastor speaks, sometimes you then become spiritual. When I'm finishing, is that we have the beliefs in the leadership of Comrade Cyril. But Comrade Cyril should not be soft, should not feel intimidated. He must remove that man. He's a buffalo. So we must see a buffalo. It's a time to see that buffalo. So a buffalo cannot be threatened by some group of thugs and all these things. We must see it. So that's why we are saying NEC and top 6 tomorrow. In fact, they must be telling us a good news, because otherwise we are going to continue. And the members of the media, please and please do not go to work tomorrow. It will not be business as usual. We will be fighting tomorrow. So don't come here and pretend to be so holy and, being so special at your work. We want you to stay at home if you cannot join us. So we don't want anybody to go to work tomorrow. From 8 o'clock, we want everybody to be in Beggars Park, where we'll start and we'll have prayers there for the pastors that will be praying for our country, so that this spirit that is coming from the devil, God must help us and save us. As Comrades Desmond Tutu have said, that South Africa, I'm warning you, one day you are going to pray for the very same democracy that you have been praying for the very same party that you love so much. You will pray for one man to go. And that's what we are doing. Every day when we sleep, we are praying for Zuma to go. And the Bible says that faith without action is dead. It's time to go to the street and remove Zuma. We don't even want to see any t-shirt that has a face of Zuma tomorrow. So we are warning everybody who will come to the march. Do not wear that t-shirt, because we will remove it. I thank you.
Okay, thank you. As a member of the South African Communist Party, we are here to give message of support to the President of African National Congress, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. We have endorsed the Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, and we made sure that our voice was heard, even in the policy conferences, and we made sure that he became the president of the ANC. Now we want him to lead us in the country as the president here. So we want to strongly voice out that Comrade Zuma, your time has lapsed. You have led and you have failed us. So move aside. Let Comrade Ramaphosa lead us so that we can improve the conditions of our people here in South Africa. We want to improve our economic conditions. Now, we want also to make a plea to the ANC and SACP. We put them there because we trusted that they will do as mandated. So they must do what is right there, remove Zuma. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before Pastor Faith takes podium, we as the host, my name is Sanjay Manyasha. This is our Ward, it's Ward 18, the Inner City Central with the leadership here. We're going to be welcoming all the millions concerned citizens of this country who will be descending here tomorrow at the park, Beggars Park across the street. We are ready. This is a peaceful march. It's a lawful march. We know when we say it's a shutdown, enemy will deploy their people to come and destroy property, but we will guard against that. We are, there's a rallying call from the society at large that the sitting state president, Comrade Jacob Zuma, has overstayed his welcome and he must step down. So we are leading that march tomorrow. We reiterate it's a peaceful march, but we'll pull all that stops to make sure that he steps down. Thank you.
I've worked with Cyril from the days when I was the deputy president of Gauteng Women's League by the time I was in the youth. And I've worked with Cyril during the negotiation council, 1992 and 1993. I know the morals of Cyril, and I know how passionate he is about his country, South Africa. So today, when we are gathered here, we are coming to emphasize that we want a man that has a soft heart, that has a good spirit, good morals for our country, South Africa. We know that there are things that our president has done before that were even, disgusting to talk about. So we want somebody that will just stand and represent the country with that good morals and principles. So as I've worked with Cyril during the negotiation council, the CODESA time, Cyril was the forefront in the negotiating council because of the heart that he has for South Africa. It's not only now that he is just coming up, as the tweeters are saying that he just came up about 1991. Cyril was long there in the ANC. Cyril was long there loving his country. As during the negotiation council, he was not doing it just for ANC. He was doing it for the country of South Africa. And this is what he is still pursuing, that I want the best, I want what is good for our country, South Africa. And this is what is going to happen. Zuma must just step down and leave somebody that has the heart for South Africa, not the Gupta things. We are just here, we are supporting Cyril all the way down because we want to see our country, we want to see the rand standing stronger, because really, ever since Jacob Zuma was there, it was nothing but just a chaotic when coming to our finances. So we are supporting Jacob Zuma, we are supporting Cyril Ramaphosa all the way. Zuma is stepping down.
She was just making a prophetic word to say, I wanted to make my conclusion by saying this. There are those who have sent a media statement, I think it was about last week, and they say Comrade Cyril is a womanizer and so on. And then I wanted to pose I wanted to send a very strong question to them. That if you said Comrade Cyril is a womanizer, who is not a womanizer between the two? And who is better between the one who have raped, who have allegations of rape, who have violated a woman's right? And we want to say this to the Women's League President, Batabile. You must stop crying like sorry, I wanted to use another words. You must stop crying and come clean and stop these things, this propaganda of that SASA contract. You wasted the time of the Constitutional Court, the weeks, the tax money of people, and now you want this tender to be extended. We want to send a very strong message to Batabile to say, we know who your master is. Maybe you're preparing to build another estate. Maybe it could be Dubai or what is this other country that we're supposed to do a nuclear with?
Russia.
Maybe Russia. Maybe you want to build another estate in Russia. So you should come back to your senses. There's a lot of people who are suffering because of this SASA contract. I mean, we were told that every month there are people who miss their payment time and again. So it can't be that you are not even ready when you're given the amount of time. So we are saying to the Women's League President, please come to your sense and put South Africa forward. And also with these things that say Cyril is a white monopoly capital. That is a statement can only be uttered by a confused comrade. Because we know what Bears Nodi was our comrade. We know what Joe Slovo. These were the comrades who played a front line. There's no such things as a white monopoly capital. Otherwise, we will say to you, you are a Gupta monopoly capital. Or you will be going to Russia monopoly capital. So there's no such things as a white monopoly capital. And you people of the media, please stop marketing BLF. Stop marketing BLF. They are a group of cowards. They ran away from ANC when things were tough. They went to EFF. They were disappointed in EFF. They come and start their own walkie-talkie with a copy and paste manifesto that they want to impose to the ANC. So stop marketing that street kids organization. And they must stop attacking Comrade Cyril. Because he is the man, as you have heard Comrade Faith saying, the amount of work that Comrade Cyril have done. So there's no such things as white monopoly capital. South Africa is a rainbow nation. We embraced one another. Because, you know, when you start with these things of saying white monopoly capital, you will then start and come and say, this is a Zulu things. This is a Venda things. This is a Xhosa things. And there's no such. We are going back to the apartheid things by start and talking about a white monopoly capital. We don't have such things. We have a one nation, a beautiful country that our forefathers have built it for us. So there is no such things as a white monopoly to say, hey, I heard this boy, Comrade Julius Malema, of which is the boy that we have raised, the boy we love so much, because we taught him politics. He is where he is because of the ANC. He could have been in the street of Sishiko now if it was not because of the ANC. So he must not grow that old and then play it on top of Cyril and say, hey, watch out, watch the space, we are coming for Cyril. I want to warn you, Julius Malema, that we are also going to come down. You make the government of Limpopo become bankrupt, where you always have cash in your baggies and you will travel wherever, throwing party every Fridays and all these things. So don't come here because you have your Smolanyana party that it looks to be doing well, you know, and you seems to be a good comrade. And then you then start and say, we are watching and give threat to South African. South African will disappoint you come 2019 because South African people love Comrade Cyril. And this comrade said that Cyril has blood in his hands for Marikana things. Comrade, you must not fall out of words and then you come with a stupid excuse and say, Cyril has, did you see Cyril having a gun in Marikana and shooting people and all those kind of things? Why don't you relate those statements to the people that were in charge of the police? So we should be very sensitive and try not to remind people of the pains that they are feeling by losing their loved ones. And you remind them indirectly because you want to score a political points. You should just go and present your manifesto. So that's what we wanted to say. And these things of a free education, we know our students are frustrated because of one president who cannot read very well and went and announced a free education, of which, yes, we need that. But don't announce things without a plan and leave a chaotic responsibilities while we still have people suffering with water, while we still have schools that I was in Benoni and I was so shocked to see that there are teachers who are having the staff room, they use their own car as their own staff room. And then you come and say free education. You even have the plan. Bring back the money. Then we can start paying for those educations. Because now university, they're frustrated by irresponsible decisions that were taken by president. Hence we said that Zuma must just go. Because a minute with him, there will be more crisis in South Africa. And I'm warning those who won't join the strike that you will see we are in the road to Zimbabwe if these men remain there. And the last call that we want to make, that NEC should not make a mistake and disappoint us in the top 6. We don't want Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma to become a deputy president. She was not elected by conference. A deputy president should be DD Mabuza. We can't have, and even Comrade Cyril should not make that mistake, because otherwise we will march to the doorsteps of Lutuli. We do not want Mama Nkosazana Dlamini. She's a good leader, yes, for those who understand her. But we feel it is not time now for her to become a deputy president. So don't make that mistake and then bring her as a deputy president. And then we are calling to those who have been insulting Comrade Cyril during the campaign, who have uttered statements, to come and apologize to the very same platform of the media. Because we can't leave that so simple. While some of us were hurt by the statement that we uttered. So we are asking comrade that were insulting the president to come back and apologize. To say we are so sorry, we didn't know we were misled. It's like Bo Comrade Malim have done it and said, sorry we misled, Jacob Zuma misled us, and then we've insulted Thabo Mbeki unnecessary. Now we're calling that and say, come and apologize. Come and say to us, and say, we are sorry. Come to the media and say that I apologize, we insulted Comrade Cyril. So, as Comrade Cyril have said in East London, in the book of Ezekiel, where he says, let this bone live again. And we are still saying that South Africa, the Israelites, they took the land not by just praying and sit. They prayed and went in a march where they were going to possess the land. So it's about time for all Christians, stop just praying in your own house and think God will come from heaven and remove that man. So you must come, join us, let's march to Union Building. That's where power is. Don't be like BLF that march to Lutul. Instead of marching to protect their own president in Union Building. So we are marching where the president is going. We're going to Union Building. So we're calling all students and everybody. No one should go to school and go to work tomorrow. I thank you. question.
Any question?
From SABC. Just yesterday, one of the top 6 members, President J.G, called that on ANC members to give the president in the process some time. Why is it that you don't seem to be listening to that call? The president also, ANC president has also made it clear that he wants some time to work out an exit plan. So why this urgency? And also, do you think it's fair to call for a national shutdown because of internal ANC problems, and that you're saying people should not go to school, so this affects the rest of the country, and yet this is an ANC problem?
Okay. I'll start with the question of fairness. President Zuma is the president of the Republic of South Africa. He is not the president of the ANC. So we should deal with that issue. And the president, if you recall it very well, is elected by the parliament. Because in South Africa, you don't elect the president. The president is then being elected by the parliament, which those parliament have been sent by the men and the women in the street. So the reason why we are calling the national shutdown is because those people who have sent there, they represent us. Whether you're an ANC member, whether you're a PAC, they represent you. So if that call is not made by the citizen, then there is something wrong. So it will not be correct by saying the challenge of a president is the ANC challenge. Because the ANC, by the way, the ANC, they can recall him and he can refuse. And it will lies with the parliament. So that's why we are saying that the nation, it must be a national challenge. Because that is where it lies, that is where it ends. Because the results of him being there, being stubborn, it affects you as a journalist. Because tomorrow they might wake up and bring another Saudi there in SABC. And then the same strike that you were doing there, who he was deployed by the same comrade, you will have it. I will just give you a simple example. Just a simple example. Because for Saudi to be with the SABC was deployed by the very same corrupt people who get someone who don't even have a grade 12 to be a boss. And when I am from a university, you spend years and years in the university, and then somebody who is not even from the university comes and being your boss. The issue of the emergency, I will leave it with my comrade here. To the emergency, why do we? Yeah, I will leave it with my comrade.
Yeah, no, thanks, comrade Bishop. It is very critical and important that we deal with the issue of President Zuma as soon as possible, because you would know that in South Africa, South Africa belongs to everyone. South Africa belongs to everyone who live in it, whether black or white or Indian for that matter. It belongs to us. So I think it is high time that President Ramaphosa resumes and takes over from the office and proceed with the work that is given to ANC. Remember, in 2014, South Africa gave us a mandate to lead the nation in terms of governance. So we think that Comrade Ramaphosa, it's high time that he deals with that particular mandate. So, but I think what is important, comrades, fellow comrades, is to us to understand that when it comes to, there are internal processes in the ANC, but as members of the ANC, we need to take initiative and lead society. Remember, ANC is the leader of society. This cry is not a cry for only ANC. It's not an internal issue only. South Africans, you'd know, Christians, you've got Bishop from Anglican. They've been making these calls. We've got SACP as leader of society. Everybody is calling on President Zuma to step down. So it's not an ANC crisis. It's a national crisis. Thanks.
And you know, I went to a certain school and I was wearing an ANC t-shirt. And a very 12-year-old child said to me, "Hey, I hate this t-shirt." And I said, "Why?" I said, "Because of Zuma." So you will realize that the crisis here that we have is a very serious one. So that's why we are now calling it and say, and you will remember, you know, the actions of Batabi and the action of Nomvula Mkonyan in Cape Town. It tells you that we have a crisis. You can't have a government that blames one another. When a poor woman in the street who voted for the very same party, suffering to get water, and then you find politicians fighting and say, this is your own responsibility. And the president should have taken a very serious step and say, what do we do for the people of Cape Town to get water? Then you find the NGO being the one that are in the center of power, of making sure that the people of Cape Town are having water. So that is something that we said, no, this man must go. So it is, in a way, he should have gone long time ago. So that's why we're going on the street.
Some news just coming in right now is that the ANC says it will take action against those organizing any sort of marches. So what's the response to that if the ANC decides, whether it's so or not, but if the ANC decides to take action against you, how would you respond to that?
We are very much ready. We know that is ACE call. We are not even ashamed because the ANC has never met. And in fact, we expected that long time ago. We are not even surprised. In fact, that could be simple. We are not even surprised because how come ACE is not taking actions against the BLF that have marched with the firearms and it comes to the office of the ANC and not marching to Union Building? So we as a citizen, we must just be very, we as a citizen, we are not afraid of ACE, by the way. And so let any action be taken, we will still march. We are not going to stop. So we are not afraid of that action.
Secondly, we are not corrupt. So why should you take an action of people who are not corrupt? Yet there are people who are corrupt. You don't take action for such people. So we are not corrupt. We are fighting for justice. We want President Zuma to step down. It's very simple. It's as simple as that. We are not corrupt. So action, if there is action which needs to be taken, it must be taken to those people who are corrupt, who are denting the image of the ANC. Remember, in the ANC, we've got a constitution. It outlines it clearly to say anyone who brings the name of ANC into disrepute, he must be taken into action. We must start there. We must be after they've taken an action against those people who are doing wrong things, who are bringing the name of ANC into disrepute. You know, Comrade Bishop, I was in Brooklyn, I think 2 weeks ago. A white lady was wearing this T-shirt. And then she comes to me, go, really, you still wear this thing? And then we love ANC, but now the person at the helm who are leading ANC are very problematic. So it's very clear, comrades, that President Zuma must go. Whether action is taken against us, there's nothing, that's not an issue. Here, tomorrow, the march is continuing. Whether action is taken, they will deal with those issues later. Tomorrow, it's a shutdown, full stop. And whether action or no action, tomorrow it's a shutdown, full stop.
And until he steps down, the only thing that they could do is to arrest us, is to take us to a prison where we cannot get out. Maybe they must take us to a Gupta prison where we cannot get out. But if he's still here in South Africa, we are not going to bow down to ACE arrogancy. I mean, that is arrogant. If himself, with this amount of accusation from, you know, after when ACE was elected as a SG, I saw a tweet that says, praise God, ACE is out of our ways. We will now be okay in Free State. Now this issue is statement. Let them continue. In fact, they should know where we live and comes to our doorsteps. We are not afraid of them. Or they must come and engage them. We are not afraid. We will fight what is right. They must start deal with, If you fail to discipline Zuma, do you think you're going to discipline us? We will defend our movement from the crooks and all those who are arrogant, the thugs. Thank you.
Okay, good day everyone. My name is Johnny Sai. I'm with African News Agency. Just to inquire, my question is related to what just came now. Do you have the blessing of your organizations? You said you are members. When you said you are members of the ANC, who do you represent? So for the match yesterday, for the match to come tomorrow, do you say the ANC in Squad or you are just members of the? There's no leadership amongst you, and also, did you consult with your leadership in Squad? And what's their stance as a region, say Squad or Ekurhuleni? What's their stance on your movement tomorrow? I'm still
okay.
Yeah. And also the issue of the police as well. Is there? You said you hinted that you sat down with the police. So this march is guaranteed that you have applied for permission and it's been granted by the police. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll start with the issue of permission. Where is that text? It's in the car. We've granted permission. It's 100% guaranteed. And then secondly, the issues of blessings or what and all these things. These are the consensus members of the ANC and the members of the public, as the call has been made for a very long time. So we are the consent, and that is our concern. And we felt if ACE went to the public and did those consents, I mean, there's been many gatherings that way. Recently, there was an organization called FRETO. They were doing the gatherings that even Mama Nkosazana went and addressed those gatherings. And it was not even it. In fact, there was even in a gathering that Comrade Cyril were even slammed. So these are the consents members of the ANC, where some of us we sit in power and some of us we don't sit in power. So it need nobody to say yes or no. As long as we agree as the movement, this is the call, this is the way to go. We want to save our movement, and we are prepared, comrade, for any pain that we might come across. That's why I said when we start that if you want to kill us, do it. If you want to fabricate us or come with all these sort of liars and all these things, we are ready for that. What we want is for Zuma to leave. This has been, remember, this issue did not start now. The Concord disowned that man. I said, you do not qualify. You have violated the oath. Can I ask a simple question? Where in South Africa, since this beautiful democracy, have you ever met a president that has this amount of allegations? Not just in a simple allegations, they are allegations of even raping a woman. And 790-something charges against him. I'm telling you, you do your own research. You are a journalist. I can just ask a simple question. What does people say about Zuma? Out of 10 people that you can meet, how many people can they say we love him? It will be only one.
It could be Batabi.
Am I not correct?
No, I wouldn't answer you.
But you know inside of your heart that I'm correct. So we are dealing with a national crisis here, where everybody's singing. Even the NGOs start to sing Zuma must go, Zuma must fall. There's even a song by this white man, Zuma must fall, Zuma must fall. Everywhere, it's like a joke. You know, I was watching a documentary done by this guy in SABC too. I love that documentary, though they were not directly talking about Zuma, but they were asking this young girl and said, would you wish to be a president? I said, from what I've experienced now, they are no good president. Because even young kids in the street, they don't want Zuma. You know, South Africa has, and ANC made a big mistake by recalling Comrade Thabo. That was a serious blunder. And they were reaping. I will not forget that Sunday. When he said South Africa, you will remember me. And what we are experiencing now is so terrible. It's worse. Where do you have a, I mean, there is a lady that I know from Free State in a very same issue of the farms and all these things that I know that are very close to ACE. That's what I'm saying. ACE cannot tell us that he will discipline us. He must first go and discipline Mpo before he comes and discipline us. Because he has a very strong amount of corruption. So we are corrupt with that gang. So let them discipline us. We'll tell them, go and, before you discipline me, bring Mpo here. The award she have won. How come she won the award of the very same farm that is in the allegations? And they come and tell us, who is Mpo to you? How are you related to that Mpo? And then you will, let me pause there because I will end up giving the secret.
Yeah, well, and in addition to what Comrade Bishop is saying, we are leaders in the ANC. We are not just ordinary people. We are leaders in the ANC. ANC, we provide leadership in the absence of leaders providing leadership. Everyone in the ANC has got a responsibility as a member to provide leadership where necessary. So we don't need blessings. BLF and their friends who gave them the blessings when they went to the house. So we don't need that. This is our constitutional right to picket, to demonstrate. We've got the right to do that. Even outside being ANC members, it's our right to do so. Thanks, Comrade, please.
Any question? A good one, sorry. Apologies. My colleague did ask, but I just want to quickly extrapolate on that. I understand that it doesn't matter whether you guys are members or whether you guys are in leadership or not. But if you could please just give us what your titles and affiliations, just so we do know going forward. We would like to know if that's possible, please.
Okay. I think when we were doing the introductions, we have done that. Maybe you were not listening.
Well, you said you're from the ANC in Sandton.
I'm a member of a branch.
Member of a branch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I said, I'm also president of SACO, South African Christian Organization.
Maybe just to assist, since we don't know some of these things, we'll ask him to just return something just like this.
Now, if you need, we can give it to you. That's not a problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, they will do it. Yeah. By the way, it's just that the councillor, even of this ward, was part of the meeting that we did yesterday. So she said that she was committed with some other logistics. I'm just giving the ward council of this ward. So if you need to contact her, in fact, she will be on the SABC at 4 o'clock today. She will be interviewed live on SABC. So that's one of the bit of the piece that we can give it you. But these are leadership, people that are sitting here.
Thank you very much.
Maybe what we'll ask is that you get their emails, and then so that we give you the press statement, because we're just talking and all these things.
I just need someone to. Which one are you here?
It's me.
No, you can come. You can come and match with your camera. It's fine.
Okay. And then what is your title?
By the way, comrade, members of the media, when you write my name, you must say a national convener for Zuma must go march.
Zuma must go march.
Yeah.
Okay.
National convener for Zuma must go march. That's what you must write. Don't write something else.
Please don't stay at home tomorrow. Come and join the march Come with your cameras because somewhere we'll be using them.
Your name and surname and your number.
It's needed by?
And then what do you represent?
No, I remember.
What?
BC. So that is a very high position in the ANC.
There's another one. We are leaders.
And then your number?
082
082
0426.
0426.
Was it already out?
Must come coming tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Can you pass it to your organization, please, sir? Your organization is.
I said ANC.
Okay.
Yeah, just say ANC. I'm a national convener.